On a warm February day in 2017, Abby Williams and her best friend Libby German decided to go on a hike near the Monon High Bridge in Delphi, Indiana. They never made it home. They were brutally murdered. During the 5-year investigation, there were sketches of the suspect that looked like two different people. There was video of the killer, bravely recorded by Libby. And finally, an arrest. Richard Allen, a local guy who worked at CVS. Allen claims he's innocent. He also alleges it was a group of Odinites who are responsible, white nationalists practicing an ancient Nordic religion who performed a ritualistic killing. In fact, those leads were actually uncovered and pursued by a law enforcement task force. And now, as Richard Allen gets ready for his trial, the question is, what will his defense be?
What will his defense be? Well, we know what it's not going to be after today's huge rulings by the judge. Take a look, folks. You may not believe this. Evidence prohibited from the trial. The defense, according to the judge, failed to produce admissible evidence demonstrating a nexus between the murders and Odinism, cult or ritualistic killing, names of the alleged Odinists. Keegan Klein, who is one of the leads in the case, who's been arrested for child pornography. Ron Logan, the owner of the private property where the girls were found murdered. Ron Logan, who lied about his alibi. Ron Logan, who also looks a little bit like the guy in the video. The court will not permit the evidence submitted by the defense in support of their arguments regarding third-party perpetrators in the trial of this cause, as the probative value of such evidence is greatly outweighed by confusion of the issues and its potential to mislead the jury. It's all out. Everything that we've been talking about, that the defense has been talking about, like their defense, their theory of the case, will be prohibited by the judge. Let's bring back in our think tank. Daryl Cohen, Rachel Kaufman, Josh Schiffer.
And people think that the court's about the truth and getting to the bottom and figuring out what the truth is, when really it's about hiding the truth from juries so that bullies can get their way. This is one of the most objectionable rulings I've seen ever since it came out this morning. The criminal defense universe has been exploding. This is a wrongful restriction of Richard Allen, who I don't feel sorry for, but deserves fundamental fairness, deserves his constitutional right, especially the first one, his freedom of speech. And that means getting to present your defense.
I am not happy with the ruling at all. I agree with Josh. I don't get to the same place he got the same way. He has to be able to defend himself, whether he is guilty as the day is long during the summer or as short as the day is during the winter. He needs to be able to defend himself. Having said that, if he is convicted, then there are many more avenues of appeal as the case goes through the appellate courts.
Here's what I'm wondering is, as a criminal defense attorney, I guess maybe because it's a case that's really interesting in the public, but like, I'm not telling the judge what my defense is going to be and giving him a list of all the different defenses that I'm going to do just so she can. I mean, she struck my first 6 defenses.
It was like the state that motioned for this because they knew that if the public heard alternatives, they might lose. Well, and they're not going to do that.
All these alternative
theories.
theories, like, it wasn't defense investigators going out there finding this stuff. This was the task force that was trying to solve the case for 5 years that uncovered this. And there were members of, there was a split in the task force. Some members believed it was the Odinists. The other ones went in a different direction.
And oh my Lord, a difference of opinion in law enforcement, meaning that the truth gets hidden from everyone.
There might be
let me show you this.
Stars.
Take a look at, this is Ron, I want you to take a look at Ron Logan on the right side of the screen. Okay, this is the guy who owned the property where the girls were found, who got someone to lie for him for his alibi. On the left side is the killer. So this is the next day. He's interviewed the next day. That's what he's wearing. It's similar. He's got a similar build. I don't know if it's him. It may or may not be, but the defense cannot mention his name, the guy who owns the property.
What's the point of having a jury trial if you're not going to give the jury more than just whatever the majority of the state thought that it should be? It's terrible.
If you believe that juries are about finding the truth and that serving on a jury means you get the truth, this is the refresher that that's a lie. Because it's a huge lie. Before the jury is impaneled, they are being foreclosed upon considering what everybody else has discussed as being a legitimate part of this case.
I'm not
and if you're going to sleep and call that fair,
and Richard Allen may have done it.
Yeah.
He
Absolutely
very well may have done that.
So pro-prosecution, it's unbelievable.
Right.
You know that.
I know that.
But here, I am very concerned with the judge constraining the possible defenses. That is up for those 12 men and women to make a decision based upon the evidence, the lack of evidence, whether or not he's guilty beyond and to the exclusion of every
let me ask you this
reasonable
now.
doubt.
This is not the first decision by the judge. You may remember the like few seconds that there was a camera permitted in the courtroom in Indiana before the judge barred them for no reason. She announced that the attorneys had withdrawn. And then the attorneys respond to that later on. Take a look.
We've had an unexpected turn of events, ladies and gentlemen. Earlier this afternoon, the defense attorneys have withdrawn their representation of Mr. Allen. Mr. Baldwin made an oral motion to withdraw. I granted that oral motion to withdraw, and Mr. Rosie will be submitting a written motion to withdraw, I'm assuming within the next couple of days.
Baldwin, can you provide any comment?
Journalism. It's time for you guys to start being journalists.
Obviously, he felt things didn't go right. I mean, all this happened like in chambers, out of the, not inside the public courtroom.
And when people bring up crazy conspiracy theories, this is why I can't tell them they're crazy. Well, because this happens, and Judge Gull firmly is putting her thumb on this scale.
Well, let me ask you this. Will this make people more skeptical of our system of justice or less skeptical?
If it doesn't make them more skeptical, there's something wrong with them. This is trying to hide the facts and all of the facts. And again, I'm very pro-prosecution.
Yeah, maybe.
I think he's probably very guilty, but the jury needs to make that decision based upon what they hear and what they see in that courtroom.
Yeah, Odinism sounds a little, out there, but I don't know enough about it or how it relates to this case to be able to rule it out. And so to not allow that evidence in for a juror, a trier of fact, to actually make a decision about that, how are they getting to the truth? Exactly, they're not. But that's what we learned in criminal justice.
There have been so many coincidences because I remember when the Odinism came up and we sat on this couch and we're like, can you believe this is where they're going? I've seen a lot more since then. And I don't necessarily buy it or believe it, but to prevent them from using it as a defense, that's offensive to me as a citizen.
I want to show a picture of Richard Allen before the arrest and Richard Allen more recently. And basically, his attorneys they're not keeping him in the jail. They kept him in a prison, like hours away from the courthouse. And there were allegations by one set of attorneys that he had for a brief time that they were treating him like Hannibal Lecter. I'm wondering what's going on in Indiana.
It gives birth to a conspiracy theory that maybe law enforcement's out to get a guy.
Yeah, I also think that when you're accused of killing children, the people that are supposed to be keeping you secure in the prison or jail setting may not be as careful with your security.
Protect the kids at all costs, and I think that's probably where they were going. This guy is evil as far as law enforcement is concerned. They want to protect the community, not just from him, because he's incarcerated.
He's not going anywhere.
From anybody like him.
All right, we'll keep an eye on this, folks. It's a shocking development in all this. All right, big thank you, Daryl Cohn, Rachel Kaufman, Josh Schiffer. We've got a lot more to get to. When we come back, I will reveal something else you need to know tonight, plus coming up next hour.
Tonight on Vinnie Politan Investigates, little Evelyn Boswell was 15 months old when she was reported missing. Her mom had sole custody, but she's not the one who called 911. It was Evelyn's grandpa. And now Megan is charged with murder, and we investigate.
Join CourtTV's Vinnie Politan with the latest and breaking true crime stories.
Now, let's look at the other side of all of that.
Vinnie Politan Investigates, coming up next, only on CourtTV.
I think he was taking time.
Chaos
in a courtroom as a defendant goes after a judge.
And now faces a jury for attempted murder.
The Judge Jumper attempted murder trial, weekday mornings, only on Court TV.
Time to reveal something else you need to know tonight. Let's take a look at the big board. And what we have for you tonight. Openings have begun in the trial of the flying felon. Take a look. Diablo Redden, remember this moment when he jumped the bench in Vegas?
I appreciate that, but I think it's time that he gets a taste of something else because I just can't with that history. In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court...
And yes, the jury has already seen the video in the opening statements. Trial coverage continues on Court TV, your front row seat to justice. Okay, folks, I need you to take a look at your television screens right now. We have a missing child out of Kansas City, Missouri. This is Winter Virginia Rains. Winter, missing since August 23rd. Here's what you need to do. Take a look at the photo. If you see her, pick up the phone, make the call, 911, 1-800-THE-LOST, or you can call the Kansas City Police Department in Missouri. That phone number is on our screen. Make a difference. Make the call if you see Winter. Let's see if we can get her to a safe place tonight.